Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Cheap and quick meals. I have 3 super elevated, of course they're cheap, but delicious meals that you can make at home. Nobody will ever know that this was made from a 38-cent pack of ramen. This will be using ingredients in your shelf, in your refrigerator. If you decide to do these, you can always elevate it with other things that you may have in your pantry. No need to go out and buy anything else. So if you have a couple packets of ramen in your shelf, then let's get to it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have another way to kick up these meals even more, then be sure to add it in the comments. But let's get into the first dish. Okay, so as you know, ramen comes in 25, 35 different forms. I like to use the cheap ones. These are ones that we keep on hand. You have the 38-cent one and you have the cup of noodles. But for this first recipe, we're going to be using peanut butter and basically a pack of ramen. You can use crunchy peanut butter, creamy peanut butter, whatever peanut butter you like. So basically, I'm going to open the ramen, cook it to the instructions on the package. You can do this in the microwave, like I said, but because I have my stove here, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So my ramen is cooked. It doesn't take long at all. And as a matter of fact, I'm just going to keep it hot. I'm going to pour off some of this water. That's just to show you that you can use a microwave as well. So while your ramen is still hot, I'm going to use about not even half of the packet just to give it that chicken flavor. Now, if you like beef, use that. Then I'm going to add some soy sauce here. How much you use is up to you and to taste. I will add the directions below. You know, I love complete seasoning, so that has to go in there. And garlic powder. If you have garlic powder, you have to put that in here. Now, if you have sriracha, make sure you add that in here. You can get it from Dollar Tree. If you don't have it, you don't have to add it, but I think it elevates it just a little bit. Here I'm using the crunchy peanut butter because who got time to go buy some extra peanuts to chop up and put in here? Use your crunchy peanut butter. I'm not a fan of crunchy peanut butter for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but we're going to use it here. And this is so simple, so easy. All you're going to do is just mix it around until everything coats. And if you know anything about ramen, you know it takes the flavor of anything that you put it with. So you're going to let it sit for a little bit and then you're going to plate it. Listen, I'm just making it fancy for the YouTubes. But that's all you would do here. Of course, you know, I'm going to add a couple more things and make it YouTube ready. But otherwise, that's it. You're going to throw your broth back inside of your noodles just to make sure that it soaks up all that goodness. When I tell you, you can't tell me that I didn't go to a restaurant and order this meal. And of course, if you're making it for a family, you would use more than one packet. You can use this one packet and actually put vegetables in it and stretch it more for your family. You can add proteins. You can add whatever you like here. I'm not doing that. And as a matter of fact, this could be considered vegetarian and vegan depending on the noodles that you use. You can add green onions here, but because I have dried garlic and I have dried I think it's onions that I have. I'm going to go ahead and add it here. I just keep these in the shelf. You do not have to add this. Like I said, I'm just doing this for YouTube. And yes, I did use my fingers because I'm the only one that eats this. But there you have it. Super simple, super easy, super delicious. And that broth is, oh my gosh. If you have some chicken, you can throw it in there. But if you don't, listen, good to go. So let's go on to our next meal. This is super simple. Oh, see what I did there? So all you're going to need is your ramen and your egg because I had a pack of the cup of noodles and they said you're not supposed to microwave this cup of noodles, but you know, we don't go by that. So I'm going to go ahead and take that one egg and I'm going to beat it to Xfinity, right? I'm going to beat it till it can't be beat no more. And that is the key to it. And then you're just going to set it aside. But you just want to make sure you beat it. However many eggs you want to add here, you can go ahead and do that. But this is going to be your protein. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and cook my noodles here. As I said with the other one, you can go ahead and put this in the microwave. And the little cheat here is these veggies in here are going to add a little something to it. If you don't have veggies and you choose to use the packet ramen, you can go ahead and add veggies, frozen veggies if you like. But I really do think that the veggies add something here. So all I'm going to do is take the ramen out of the pack. And it's easier said than done. I did not know how hard this was, even though I've done this before. It's been a while. So I'm just going to put my packet of ramen here. And the texture of the cup of noodles ramen is a little bit different from the packet ramen as well as any other ramen. So Here, I'm just going to make sure that it's cooked on the stove. It doesn't take long at all. If you know anything about ramen, you know this is done in like maybe 2 minutes. And that's the beauty of these recipes. You can have them done in no time. And like I said, if you're cooking for your family, add a couple packets here. So to this, I'm going to use that same packet that I used with the other chicken ramen, and only because I didn't use the seasoning that was at the bottom. Of course, I added my complete seasoning. Gonna add some soy sauce. Now, this is all to taste. If you're trying to cut your sodium, no need to add any extras here, but I do think it kind of elevates the taste, especially the soy sauce. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my pot off the stove while it's still hot. And I kept this in real time motion just to show you how slowly I do this, because you want the eggs to turn into ribbons. You want it to still be formed. You don't want it to turn into like a cream sauce or anything. You want the eggs to be in there so that you can see it. And then you just want to keep stirring it around. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to use that bowl that I had the egg in to plate it, because that heat is going to cook the rest of the egg. And just like that, you're done. Now, if you want to add chicken, you can do that. If you don't like the cup of noodles ramen, you can use the ones that you prefer. There's no need to use anything special here. Like I said, if you have extra veggies, extra protein, extra whatever in your refrigerator, you can add it here. I am using what I have. These are meant to be super quick, super cheap, and you're going to see me wipe off that water, so don't worry about it, y'all. And I'm just going to show you what it looks like plated up. Now, does it look like the most classiest meal you've ever had? No, but is it super delicious? Yes. And I have some sesame seeds that I've had forever, and I'm just going to add them there just to add a little texture, because I do like sesame seeds with my ramen, and I added it in the first meal as well. I forgot to mention. Now, you can add sriracha here, or you can add some chili powder. I prefer to add the chili powder only because sometimes the sriracha can be overpowering. And I'm just showing you what it looks like after it's done. Super delicious. When I tell you that this is a must try, definitely a must try. So let's move on to number 3. So here I'm using the yakisoba noodles. That's what I happen to have in the shelf. And I think that this adds a little something to this dish. If you have regular ramen that's 38 cents, use that. Or if you can get a spicy pack, use that. But I really think that that spicy is going to take this to a whole nother level. So basically, I forgot to show you the package as it came out. But I basically just took the noodles out, put them in the water again. As you know, takes no time. If you have a microwave, put it in the microwave. Once the noodles are cooked, with this one, I put a little less water than I would typically put. And I'm going to use half of the packet. Or if you do not like the spicy chicken packet, or you don't have the spicy chicken packet, the sriracha is good cheap. So I'm using half the packet here. Just going to stir everything around to make sure everything's coated. And the beauty of ramen is that it comes already flavored. So anything you add is just an addition. To this, I'm going to add a piece of sliced cheese. I know you're like, what? Trust me on this. If you've ever done this, you know this is super delicious. And that sriracha is just going to bring it to another level if you want to do that. But because I'm using the spicy chicken, I'm just going to add a piece of cheese. That is it. Now, if you want to add shredded cheese, you can do that. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add a little garlic powder here. And I think that just elevates it to the next level. Of course, I would have put complete seasoning here, but for some reason, this is already very heavily seasoned, and I don't think I need to add anything to this. And as this liquid starts to thicken, it gets really, really creamy. So I like to let it sit for a little bit. Listen, my mouth is watering just looking at this as I'm doing this voiceover, because I remember how good this was. And I'm just going to add a little parsley just for a little bit of color. But I mean, you don't have to add anything else. You don't have to do anything else. That is it. These are great meals, especially with the fall time coming. Like I said, look, my mouth is watering. I can barely talk, y'all. Y'all know I love a good ramen recipe. But yeah, all 3 super quick, super simple, but super delicious. No need to go out and get anything. I just hope that you guys can go into your shelves and see what you can grab out. Grab those packets of ramen that you may have. You can even do this with spaghetti noodles or any other pasta that you have in the refrigerator or in the shelves. I just think it's better to use the ramen because it comes with the packets. But yeah, y'all, that's it. And thank you guys for watching as always. Until the next video, guys. Bye.